All right, guys, welcome back to another video. Sorry, this one is a little late this week. We've been having these videos go up usually on Monday or Tuesday. This week, I was off for a couple days over the weekend, and then it just kind of fell behind. So we're doing our match review. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what match did you guys find the most entertaining over the weekend. A lot of you guys been liking these videos a lot. I want to stay consistent with them. I'm gonna try my best for you guys. Consistency is everything. Remember that. With everything you do, consistency. Let's talk about, first of all, we're going to talk about Chelsea. This game, to me, was very interesting because I thought early on Chelsea was going to run away with this one. And my largest problem with Chelsea is that I think they got to figure out the back line, man. They just seem too clumsy back there. So I watched this game. It was a very early one. I like what I'm seeing from the attackers. I really thought Chelsea should have done better here. Dropping points to Palace is not good. They're not doing well this season. I think they're towards the bottom of the table. They're in 16th. Chelsea are in 11th. It's just not been an amazing start for them. 1-1-1. But look, I thought this was a game they were going to get 3 points. Just even from watching the beginning part of it, you can even see statistically, man, they really should have done this. Eze had a wonder goal. I'm liking what I see from Jackson. I'm liking what I see from Palmer. They just got to keep it going. Madueke's playing well. I think something has to be said, though. They got to figure out how to just compose themselves a little bit more out the back. I've been a little worried about them. I don't feel comfortable watching their defense. I don't know. I had them in my prediction at 5th place. Will we get there? I'm not sure if they're going to do that. I think they'll figure it out. It's just weird to see them drop points in this one. I don't know. I felt like City was kind of like a fluke that game. Thought they looked a lot better. You know, obviously 6 goals against Wolves is crazy. But it's about them, finding the finish there. And look, if their defense is going to be bad, they're just going to have to try to outscore everybody, right? And we saw that in the Wolves game, 6-2. They're going to have to put up more goals than one. They're not going to be getting 3 points with one with that defense. They're probably going to have to try to score 3 goals a game. We're going to stay in the Premier League. We're going to talk about Newcastle versus Spurs. Obviously, Spurs dictating most of the possession here. This was a really good result for Newcastle. I don't feel like Newcastle has been insane to start the season, and they find themselves in 5th place with no losses so far. And it's looking like the Newcastle that we kind of know. They're going to have that very sweaty defense, and they'll be very lethal on the counter. So Tottenham, I had them in 8th in my predictions. Right now, they're sitting in 10th. 1-1-1. I mean, Tottenham, it's so funny, man. They play some of the prettiest football in the league, but I don't know what it is with them. I think they'll find their way, though. I think Spurs will put together some wins and get it going at some point. But yeah, Newcastle looking really strong. I think I had Newcastle in my predictions in like 6th or 7th place. So, that feels about right for them this season. Let's talk about this game. I'm not going to spend too much time with this game besides talking about the fact that I just think Liverpool are so in control when I watch them play. I don't know, man. They have so much control in the match. It's crazy. United, it's just going to be one of those seasons again. It feels like, it's just going to be, you don't know what you're going to expect. I mean, I could sit here and blast Casemiro. I could sit here and call out XYZ. It just feels like the overall game plan, the energy on this team is not where it needs to be. I thought they would look a lot better, and they still just don't look great. I've been seeing a lot of the pundits say that they don't even think Ten Hag is going to make it till past Christmas. We will see. Look, if this keeps happening, it's not going to be great. But I'll say this, man. Liverpool are much better than United. I wasn't expecting United to really get points out of this game, and so I'm going to say the same thing to people watching this video that maybe like Chelsea. I wasn't, you weren't expected, in my opinion, to get points when you're Chelsea against City. Same thing with United. United's got to take care of the other games, and that's where I'm starting to get a little nervous with them. In terms of who they have coming up, they really need to play well here. They've got Southampton, Palace in the league, and then they play Spurs. They need to get 3 points out of both of these games, bro. They cannot keep losing. They've lost 2 games in a row in the league, and we even know Fulham in the first game. I mean, that was a tough one, but they find themselves right now at 14th place, so 2 goals for, 5 against. It's been a really bad start to the season for them. Let me talk a little bit about Real Madrid. They, again, don't look great, but Mbappe finds his way, and this is massive for Mbappe because, obviously the 007 accusations were starting. It's one of those with him where we were starting to question him, and him getting 2 goals. The first goal from Valverde, the pass was unreal. If you guys haven't seen that goal, go watch it because it was out of this world. The vision to see that, and Mbappe making the run, an excellent finish. It's going to take some time for him to be a little bit more comfortable there. They will figure it out. I'm telling you right now, they will figure it out. La Liga is just so tough. A lot of these teams very much defend, play a lower block, and it's just tough against anyone to play that style. Madrid, to me, so far, are doing what Madrid does best, right? They're 4 points out of it. They haven't lost a game. It's so early on in the season. I think they're just so inevitable as a club. They've really not had a great start, and they're still sitting in this position. So when they do start to click, I mean, Barcelona is going to have to keep their foot on the pedal the whole season to really do some damage here, because this Madrid team is going to be tough to beat over the course of a season. I still feel like this Madrid team, to me, is still finding their identity, and it's going to take time. I don't think it's just because of this result that next week they're going to be flying. They could, but I think it's going to take a lot of time this season. I think they'll find their footing by the end of the season. And if one thing has told us anything in football over the years, you do not want to peak too early in the season. You do not. So look, any team right now that you guys are watching, maybe is not doing that well, not looking that good. It's going to take time, and sometimes it's not a bad thing, right? You don't want to overplay your hand early. It's a long season. It's a very long season. Okay, let's talk about this. This is a really interesting situation with Heidenheim, because Heidenheim sold a lot of players this season. If we look at their lineup overall, you're going to notice a lot of players are not there. Dinky is not there. Besta is not there, I believe. Tim Kleidenst is not there. So those three players, Kleidenst had like 20 goals last season. He went to Gladbach. He's already scoring for them. Two of their more higher valued players, you know. I think Warner is from Bayern. I could be wrong. They're cooking, all right? They are top of the league, and they sold a lot of players. They have not even conceded. They're going to have a huge test against Dortmund next week. So watch out for that. If you guys are looking for, a different team to watch, a new game, watch out for Heidenheim. It's just a really interesting one, because a lot of people were predicting they might go down this season, and they played pretty well last season. They played well enough, to get a spot, right, in Europe. So a lot of people were predicting they were going to be really low in the table this season with who they sold, and bro, they are they're looking more than up for it. But we'll see. It's going to be a quick start for them. Then they're going to start to, you'll see how this goes. This happens with these teams, right? They're playing Conference League, right? It's a long season. It's going to add up, and people get tired. Fatigue happens. Let's talk a little about Juventus Roma. One of the most boring games all weekend. I'm not going to lie. This game reminded me of like prime Serie A, when we used to just see these teams battle against defense and versus defense, and it was 1-0, 0-0, 1-1 every game. Kind of remind me a little bit about South American football, though this game was just missing overall the attacking part that South America does have. Less than 1 XG combined in this game, 50-50 possession, very even. I'll say this, my point about this game that I'm wanting to discuss with you guys, Juventus looks like they're going to be really tough to beat this season. Just look, they may not win 3 points or get 3 points from every match, but they just look like they're going to be really hard to take down defensively this season. They look like they've really got a good system going. And it's funny because we take a look at this Juventus 11, and it's like, who is even really that? It's a lot of players in there that you're like, this guy doesn't really play for the national team. This guy, is he really all that? It's crazy to see what they're doing. Roma obviously got David Dobrik this season as well. So Roma's looking pretty good. Nothing really to say about them in this game. At least getting a point for them was good, because they had a really bad start with that loss early on. So they're down in 17th. But yeah, Juventus just looking. 0 goals conceded in 3 games is no joke. I want to talk about PSG, because I have an outside feeling about PSG. And I feel like PSG are actually contenders for the Champions League. Call me crazy. You guys can call me crazy. That's fine. I'm not a huge believer in this league, but to see what these guys are doing in this league is, I can't not notice it. Okay, they've played 3 games, they've scored 13 goals, and they have 2 against. All right, last season, I say this like every week on this channel, PSG probably should have been in the final. Respect to Dortmund for everything they did, right? Do you know how unlucky it is to hit the crossbar and post 6 times over 2 legs? I think it was 6. It might be 7. So PSG put together a really good campaign last season, and now all these discussions are being had about, man, this guy Barcola is really serious. He's kind of come right in and replaced Mbappe. And I'll just say this. I am a huge believer. People say in basketball, like NBA wins championships. I'm a huge believer in football that a midfield can win you championships. Their midfield, the way these 3 guys are playing together, they're controlling the match. They're looking incredible, this team. Just as an overall squad, if you were to put the Champions League on right now and we went to knockouts, they would have to be one of the favorites. They are looking so good collectively at the moment. So we'll see how this goes throughout the season. I'm not saying they're my favorite to win the Champions League, but PSG are looking really, really, really serious, this time around. And if this team stays together and kind of meshes together over the years, they seriously could be a problem. So watch out for them. Let's talk about Arsenal. This game to me was really interesting. Obviously, the red card hurt them. I think overall you got to look at this for Arsenal as a positive, though. I know people will be still upset, but the fact that they walked away from this game not empty-handed, they still got a point. And Brighton has been a team that's come out just swinging this season, bro. They're tied with Arsenal in third place. Still haven't lost a game. We have how many teams undefeated in the Prem? We got a couple. Forest still hasn't lost. Bournemouth hasn't lost. But yeah, this for Arsenal, it's not a bad result. Don't get it twisted. Liverpool this season have started so strong. Not a bad result for Arsenal, though, overall. And let's move on to Man City. All right, so I said before the season I think Haaland might have 35. If he stays healthy in the league, he might have 40. I mean, I've never even seen Haaland look this good in my life. People are saying like tap in Merchant, but the finishes he's having this season, he's just not missing. He looks so money out there. I can't even believe it. So this might be the season that Man City just really get back to looking like Man City overall throughout the course of a season. I feel like the last season it was a little closer. Obviously, it came down to like the last match week. We might see Man City just pull away with it this year. I had them first to win the league. They look unbelievable. And really, it does look like it's taken some time, but it looks like the whole team now is just understanding of how do we just get the most out of Haaland, because we've got literally a superhuman at striker. And one thing to see here that's crazy is like, Pep in this game was able to. I don't even think. I think this game I didn't watch after the first half, but I don't even think that Savinho and Rodri didn't even play this game, right? Foden was out with an illness. I mean, the rotation these guys have, the depth they have, it's crazy. They've got more than enough to do it this season. Haaland is going to be the key for them. They got to keep him healthy, because I still don't really look at their bench and everyone else they have and really trust anyone else. What they're going to end up doing then is like, if he gets injured, they'll probably have to play Foden in the middle, right? And play him really as a false. So, let's keep watching them. This is probably my favorite game of the weekend. I always kind of go through and talk about my favorite game. Barcelona, man. I talked about this in a video separately, just kind of talking about what they accomplished, but this was so impressive. If you guys didn't watch this game, the way that Hansi Flick has his team playing, I think they're playing overall the best football in the world right now out of all the clubs in the world, just collectively. I mean, we could talk about a million things. We could talk about how Rafinha finally looks really consistent. We could talk about how Lewandowski is like out for proving everybody this season, because everyone said he was finished last season after he had 20-odd goals, and he's going out there going crazy. We could talk about how Danny Olmo is just a grossly underrated footballer. He's come right into this team right after Spain and done what he was doing. We could talk about how Yamal is probably the next up, wonder kid. We could talk about how Koundé is potentially the best right back in the world right now. We could talk about how the center backs are really stepping it up with Araujo being out. I mean, there's just so many talking points with Barca. I don't even know where we start. The team looks incredible. The one difference I can see, because people are saying like Barca last season with Xavi got off to this really good start, and now Barca's getting off to this really good start, and people are saying don't get ahead of yourself. The one thing I will tell you in my humble expertise, the control and game plan they look like they have, it's miles different than how they looked under Xavi, even getting results. They just look like they have the confidence and the swag as a team to go out there and do what they have to do. So, I don't know, man. Watching Valladolid, I can't even say the name of this team. Madrid had to kind of really do their magic at the end of that game. I mean, this team looked defeated. They didn't even look like they know what was going on. This is an interesting one, too. We don't really see this too much with Leverkusen, right? So Leverkusen was kind of getting Leverkusen in this game. They went up 2-0 and they lost 3-2. Openda scored a worldie of a goal in the 80th minute. I mean, it was just a crazy one if you haven't seen it. And so Leverkusen, they have already been defeated in the Bundesliga now. Leipzig off to 2 wins out of 2. Bayern doing what it takes. I mean, Bayern Munich, to me, haven't looked that crazy either, but they've got 2 wins, and that's all that matters. So it's definitely an interesting season with the Bundesliga. Will we have a different winner this season? Will Leverkusen be, a bit fatigued after that crazy season? I don't know. They had a lot of players playing internationally this time around, too. Man, this one is so interesting, man. Leao, there's like a beef with the manager. Dude, Milan this season have not won a match. How many times are we going to say that? AC Milan hasn't won a match in 3 games. All right, they're sitting 14th right now, and we got this weird situation going on where Leao got subbed in the 70th, Teo got subbed in the 70th, so 2 of their top 5 players didn't even start. It's so interesting right now what's going on with Milan. I don't really know. Tammy Abraham looking like Tammy Abraham. I mean, he was out there cooking. Drop points to Lazio. Okay, as good as Juventus look, Inter are looking more than up for winning the league again. I don't know. I just trust this team. There's something about Inter that they just feel so inevitable in the league. They feel like they have such a good system to just continue to win trophies. I don't know. It looks like they'll at some point, for me, pull away with this one. Having Milan drop all these points early on, we'll see. Can that Juventus team that, to be honest, a lot of those players you don't even know, can they hold what they're doing throughout the course of the season? I would bet more on Inter. I mean, 4-0 against Atalanta is no joke. So what did you guys think of the weekend? How did you guys rate the games? Thanks for watching the video. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. These were the games that I wanted to talk about today. And international break is a bit of a snooze fest. We got to wait a little bit, but then we'll be back. See you guys in another one. Peace.